sorry to interrupt. I did not know you were an actor as well.
Oh yeah. So I act and I model. I do ads.
Guys, actor, model, DJ, karaoke jockey, more to come. That's
No.
Martin Dsouza. I'm so
Thank you.
excited that you are on the sets of Finding Why. So last week Martin had invited me to 2 of his gigs, and honestly, the moment I entered, I saw this very energetic person like you. Super good looking, very talented.
Thank you.
And before you came, I was like, I need to level up my energy because he's
Get
so
pumped up,
energetic.
like all get pumped up, yeah.
Yes, and I have a little confession. When I was there in the gig, I was sort of fangirling. He's coming on Finding Why, and I started posting pictures and sending across my friends. He's coming on Finding Why. So I'll just calm down. Clearly, you can see I'm super pumped up, but thank you so much.
But thank you so much for having me on this. And like I said, I think it's something that I resonate with a lot.
Firstly, I want to know how was your childhood like? मतलब कब पता चला या realize हुआ कि DJ भी एक career होता है?
Actually, definitely not in my childhood. Okay, because in my childhood, I think the only 2 things people were supposed to do were either become a doctor or an engineer. And that was the mentality with which I grew up with. Not me personally, but I'm saying society, right? Everybody was like, "Arey, doctor banna hai, ya engineer banna hai," and only then you'll make money, right? And I think that's the biggest issue a lot of people face, because you're starting off with that mentality, saying paisa banana hai. In a country like India, where 100 other people around you, like say in this area, are probably engineers or doctors, right? It's that, right? I think it stems from that. And honestly, I never had a clue about becoming this when I was growing up. It was never even an idea. But I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I think MTV and VH1 had just kind of started, and I used to listen to songs. And I used to be obsessed with it. I was like, man, like, and I remember this phase where Eminem came in, right? And it's rebel rap. It's someone who's coming and talking about different kind of things around you. And obviously growing up as teenagers, you're all pumped up saying, man, like, this is who I want to be. When I was growing up, exposure was very little. There was no, internet wasn't what it is today, right? And I think the biggest advantage kids nowadays have growing up is the exposure they have to different careers or different personalities around them to get inspired or to learn from, or just to reach out and ask someone. It's as simple as, okay, I want to reach out to Mayuri, I'll get onto Instagram and I'll send her a message. Right? It's become that easy now if I want to reach out to you and ask you something.
So what were you studying when you were in college?
I did business management. So I did science in my 11th and 12th because I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. As I was doing science, I suddenly got into a lot of college competitions. So, I used to go for public speaking or theater related competitions in college. And it really got me interested. And I'm like, man, I really enjoy doing this, because from being a shy person who couldn't get on stage to talk or give a speech in front of people, to suddenly going to this different environment where I'm on stage performing, competing with students across the country, that adrenaline pumping and all excited to perform on stage, right? So I think that really changed things around. But finally, I came across a business management course. And I was like, man, this course is just the perfect course for me because it involves doing practical things and combining education with it. And that's when I decided to do business management. So all these things really got me excited, and I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do in the future, but at least for the next few years, I'm going to do this.
So let me guess, while you were pursuing this bachelor's, you were still full of extracurricular kid who used to go around, move around, take participation, do participation in different activities?
Yeah. So I used to be that. I used to be that person whose life in college revolved around going for college competitions. That's it, right? I mean, studies became secondary. Because we were going for college competitions, obviously, you become much bolder, right? You're facing unknown people. You're competing against brilliant minds across the country, and you're being judged by people who are from the industry. But apart from that, also we had a Mad Ads team, and I don't know how popular Mad Ads is across the country in a college environment, but Mad Ads is essentially a bunch of people coming together on stage and doing spoofs on particular brands or on particular advertisements or on movies. So you come on stage, you act, but it's all about making it funny and making people laugh. So luckily enough, we had a brilliant team. There were 5 of us, and we were a great team. So even till then, music was never an option, right? Music was something I did for fun, because through all of this, I started writing because it was my way of expressing creativity.
Writing what?
So I used to write poems. It was my escape from reality.
So a lot of multiple things happening right now. You were attracted with this MTV and VH culture that was going on. You were very good on stage, clearly. All the confidence had picked up. And this writing thing had become your escape from reality. So a lot of things happening. So how did you actually sort of connected all the dots and realize, you know what, I need to pivot to something that includes all of this?
So it was very weird. Okay, it took me a long time. Okay, Mayuri, I'm being very honest about it, being very candid about this. I probably didn't have the courage to move forward to taking something of this. Right? I think I was a great public speaker. I think I was great at dramatics, but I didn't know how to make money out of it, or I didn't know how to monetize it as a career. So I had options, but I didn't know which to choose. So what I did was I ultimately ended up choosing advertising, which for me was a culmination of everything, right? It was like a mix of everything, right? It was about creativity. It was about interacting with people. It's about devising strategies. It's about being creative with ideas to launch a brand or to sell a brand. So all of this made sense, and I ended up in advertising. And I had a great time. I worked on some great brands. I worked with some great agencies, which back in the day used to be the top agencies in the world. And when I was in college, like I said, because I enjoyed being on stage so much, I somehow got very lucky and got picked for an ad, to act in an ad.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was very, very weird. I've spoken about this before. But I don't know, what do I call it, luck? I think it was luck at that particular point of time that I got that break, right? Whatever I did after that obviously was very different, but that's how I got it.
Sorry to interrupt, I did not know you were an actor as well.
Oh yeah, so I act and I am model. I do ads.
Guys, actor, model, DJ, karaoke jockey, more to come.
No. But I started, technically, I'm an actor first and then I'm a DJ.
Is it?
Yeah, because I started when I was 19. I did my first ad when I was 19. Yeah.
We have so many careers to cover in this video.
So I started that way. One of my friends is a great singer, and we used to go for karaoke. And my friend used to sing, and we used to just quietly sit and not quite, but loudly cheer her on. We were those people, right? Then we went back home, started practicing, started innovating with songs. Then because I used to also write, then I started writing my own rap. So in between a song, I used to do my own rap, all of that. So that's how music kind of soaked into us. And And that's how I kind of got into that. And man, I was like, man, this is interesting, right? But again, I still was very lost with a career path. I didn't know how to monetize it. So when I was 25, I think 25, 26 is when I did this. I decided that, you know what, this is it. I'm going to do something drastic and say, I'm done with this career and I want to do things that engage me a lot more. So I did my MBA, got my certificate, my master's, went up to my parents, gave it to them and said, hey, you know what? I'm done. You wanted me to do this, I'm done. But now I'm going to do things I want to do. Now I'm going to dive into something with blind faith, hoping things work out. If it doesn't work out, bad luck. I'll get back to it was a 9 to 5, it was a 9 to 9 job, but I'll get back to that. So it's okay. So I quit. I just quit, and I was in this transition phase where I'm figuring out what I want to do. But like I said, I was also writing when I was in college, right? So luckily enough, what had happened was a person with who had acted for a corporate film for him, he's a director, said, I bumped into him in UB City, and luckily enough, he remembered me, and we were just conversing, and he was like, hey, so Martin, what are you up to? What do you want to do? And, how's work? And I was like, I quit my job. And he's like, so now what? I said, now I'm figuring out what I want to do. He was like, hey, you know what? Why don't you start writing for me? He used to do a lot of travel tourism films for the government of India. So we've done films for Karnataka tourism, Lakshadweep tourism, things like that. So he said, why don't you do this for me?
So you used to write scripts.
So I used to script it for him. So I used to write scripts for him because I had to make money, right? I'm quitting my job when I'm 25, 26, absolutely broke. And I was in advertising, and advertising back in the day didn't pay great. It didn't pay well. You do it for your passion, right? So it's not like I have enough savings. So I was at this situation in life where I still had to make money, but also follow passion. So writing for me served that purpose. So it was going great. Everything was going good. And randomly at a party, I got talking to this person who's a friend of mine now. But they were like, hey, you know what? I've seen you do karaoke at this karaoke bar, right? I used to go with my friends. So they were like, why don't you host karaoke for us? And I'm like, how do I host karaoke? And they were like, we're just starting programming this new club. And why don't you start this? It's a place called Love Shack. Okay, it used to be on the Inner Ring Road. And they said, why don't you give it a shot? I said, okay. So I started on Wednesday nights. My friends were very helpful. And, this part of the story, I think is probably I've spoken about it in every interview that I've done, because I think this is what kind of changed things for me, career-wise, right? My friends were super helpful, and that's something I'll never forget. Very supportive, very helpful. And I started hosting karaoke, and I had to go back home and tell my parents I'm now a karaoke jockey, and they're like, what is it? And I was like, yeah, I host karaoke. And they're like, you get paid for it? I said, yeah, I get paid for it. So what do you do?
Actually, even I want to know, what do you do
as a karaoke jockey? Okay, so that's one of the career paths. So as a karaoke jockey, you make people sing, right? It's the simplest explanation you can give someone. But then people are like, why do you need to make people sing, right? They'll come and sing. So it's as simple as this, right? You have a phone on you, you have iTunes, you have Spotify, you have Ghana, right? You have multiple avenues where you can listen to music. But then why go to a club? So my job as a karaoke jockey is to bring people together and create an environment where other people are enjoying people singing. So I curate that particular night depending on the kind of requests that I've got. At the same time, I also help out people who probably are not able to sing well enough. Not everybody is.
Guys, I was one of them when
yeah, she sang at karaoke.
I sang a karaoke and I was pathetic, but thankfully he was covering me up.
Okay, so again, the point of karaoke is just having fun. That's it, right? And I always say this: it's not a competition. Of course, we do competitions as well, but at the end of the night, it's about having fun. The singers having fun, and of course the people around having fun. So that as my job as a karaoke jockey is to do all of this, right? A is to help people out when they're singing, but also to get the crowd singing along with them and to get them pumped up, which is why I would talk in between a song, or once a song is done, introduce the next singer, crack a few jokes, personally not be offensive to someone who sung badly, all of that, right? It is, and it's about getting that vibe going. So a lot of people ask me, so you get paid for this? And I'm like, yeah, man, I get paid for this. It is a legit job.
I mean, it's so interesting. Like, you actually had bits and parts of the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And eventually you fell into a place where you're doing all of this.
Exactly.
You're singing, you're making jokes, you're on the stage, you're creating the vibe.
Yeah, I really hope people, learn or kind of accept what you're covering across your channels, right? Because I think it's so important for the society as a whole to start accepting alternate careers. It's tougher it is. So yeah.
And the struggle starts from your own home. And
Yeah,
it's not even
exactly.
you step out of the home and then
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the harder part.